Alright, welcome to beautiful Nottingham. Now, I would have gotten a nice bus from the rail station to where I need to go, but because I am still the clueless foreigner that doesn't know or didn't know until just now, that you actually have to wave to get a bus to stop in the UK, I am now walking to the city ground. Or maybe I'll try my luck again here.
Nottingham is quite an expansive bus network with two main operators dominating the city centre. The largest one is Nottingham City Transport, which is what we're on right now, namely route number 6. It will get me pretty close to the city ground, but the best part about it is that we go right over the River Trent, where we do get a view of the stadium on our way.
Alright, I guess that wasn't too bad. I finally figured out how to signal a bus to stop in the UK. Good job, I'm learning. So yeah, Nottingham is a very sort of centralized city in terms of its sports venues. This is the cricket ground, and that sign over there mentions a couple other sporting venues. But on either side of the River Trent are the city's two fierce football rivals. And here we are at the red side. This is the city ground, home of Nottingham Forest. Now the question is, how many Greek flags will I expect to find here?
While Mr. Marinakis was nowhere to be seen this time, I'm sure the Forest faithful still love him. After last season saw them qualify for Europe almost out of nowhere, this campaign has been notably bumpier. I do think they'll still stay up, because some teams in this league are awful. West Ham. And they've definitely got a talented spine in the likes of Murillo, Elliot Anderson, and Morgan Gibbs-White.
So, trainability for Forest? Well, it's a bit tricky because on the one hand, it is pretty easy to get here from the Central Railway Station, which is also served by all the tram destinations. But on the other hand, it is still quite far. You have to get a bus. But on the other hand, there are a lot of different buses. But ultimately, I think the fact that it's a 20-minute walk as well is that's not that bad. You can get a good 20-minute walk in. But I don't know, I think putting all that together compared to some of the others where, it's just at the doorstep of the station, it is harsh, and we have to give Forest a 5 out of 10. You see, the problem when you have so many different routes is that you don't even have any centralized stops. I'm having to do all sorts of maneuvers to try and figure something out. But yeah, it says do. Better be do. Isn't the B Manchester's logo?
Heading back into town now, I took the second major bus operator here, Trent Barton, on its route that is known as the Main Line, or I guess just Main Line. I don't know, I didn't really have time to look into how these routes work. I just wanted to take whatever bus would get me to the station fastest, and it just happened to be this one.
Alright, Main Line. Well, here we are. Welcome to Nottingham Station, where I have a train to Birmingham in 10 minutes. I was getting a little bit nervous that I wouldn't make it, but we're here. Still gotta get on though. So yeah, Nottingham, thank you. You've been a lovely host for the 4 hours and 3 videos that I've been here. Your trams are epic. Your buses are quirky. I'll definitely have to come back and check them out in more detail because I do not understand them at all.
Nottingham's main and actually only railway station is quite fascinating, and I wish I had more time to check it out in more detail. The station has 7 mainline platforms and sees services from the likes of East Midlands Railway, Northern Trains, and Cross Country, which we're about to get on. The station is also served by an elevated stop on Nottingham's tram system.
Alright, we're here in the platform level at Nottingham, but this is only platform 5A. My train's at 5B. Alright, Cross Country, another new TOC for me. The 170, another new train for me. And everything here is diesel. It even sounds like diesel.
The cross-country Turbostar is really underwhelming, but what can you really expect for a train service that doesn't even enter London? The north-south divide really does make itself known when you come to riding trains and even things like electrification. But yeah, the legroom here isn't great, the train was overcrowded, and it's just really loud. After our first stop at Beeston, we found ourselves stopped on the Y for a few minutes just before Long Eaton. We left that station around 2 minutes late. Let's hope the delays don't continue to pile up. We pass by an EMR yard on the way to Derby, and after we leave, the train will reverse. I moved to a now free window seat and got a shot of the new Class 810 Hitachi trains that at the time of me editing this video have finally entered service. This was quite an unremarkable ride, but at least we had consistent periods at 100 miles per hour, or 160 kilometers per hour for normal people. I guess London does really spoil you with nice trains, and this is what it's really like in the rest of the country. Predictably, I took a nap, but thankfully woke up a little just before we got to Birmingham, where I would get out at New Street, the city's main intercity station.
Alright, so that was cross country. I'm at Birmingham New Street. Very unremarkable ride, but we're here. And now I have 2 more stadiums to get to. This isn't even that bad of a station. It's got a nice roof, got a nice food court, which I might go get something from. Alright, so this place brands themselves as having real California burritos. I don't know. I mean, it's not that bad. Hey. Alright, here's my train. A 7:30 Adventra to Whitton.
Aside from all the intercity traffic, New Street is also a hub for suburban services from West Midlands trains. These brand new 730s are from the same family of trains as the Elizabeth line, among others, and I think of all of them, this one has my favorite interior. The orange and purple livery is also amazing and reminds me a bit of the teams that we're going to be visiting today. This is called the Chase Line, an inter-suburban line that runs from New Street to Walsall and further north into Staffordshire. The service on this bit of the line runs every 30 minutes, and once trains get to New Street, they through run onto the main line. No, not that main line.
Alright, here's Whitton. The station was filled with Aston Villa badges, as was Aston before it, but I think this one's a little bit closer. And I'd better hope so, because I just have 13 minutes, 1-3, to go to the stadium and come back to get the next train that I want here. I better do that quickly, because the next train after that isn't for a while. And here we are, Villa Park, finally managed. Oh, and there's still one anyway. Yeah, pretty hard to get some shots without cars. Here's the park beside Villa Park. Get a different vantage point over here. But yeah, Aston Villa, pretty easy to get here by train. How do I rate them for trainability? Well, I think it would help if there was a tiny bit more frequency. I don't know if they handled that on game day, but again, the fact that there's 2 stations, not one, really good for dispersing the crowds. I think Villa fans are probably going to hate me if I don't give them higher than an 8, but I think 8 is appropriate. And yeah, I gotta get back to the station though, because the train that I want to Wolverhampton is very soon. Okay. This is pronounced Smethwick. pathetic.
Now we're on the main line that traverses the West Midlands, which branches off the West Coast main line between Rugby and Stafford. It's only 2 tracks throughout, so these local commuter trains have to share tracks with longer distance and high-speed trains too, all the way through Coventry, Birmingham and Wolverhampton where we're headed. That does make operations quite challenging.
See something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sort it.
Alright, we are pulling in to Wolverhampton. I think the stadium is nearby. Let's go find Molyneux. Would you look at that? It's a battery tram. Isn't that great? So there's the train I came in on. There's a massive car park. There's what I believe is a bus station. And I'm about to enter the most defining landmark of the city of Wolverhampton. And that is a huge, huge roundabout. There goes a battery tram. And I've ended up back where I started. A monument of the indomitable spirit of human ingenuity. Okay, at long last, I've crossed the ring road. It should be right around here. Nope, it's the other way. Who designed this place, man? This is just a horrible place to be. Now I understand why everyone hates Wolverhampton. How do you get around? Oh, I think I see something orange. God, this is a terrible place, but I finally have seen the site of the stadium. It's one thing being in a terrible city. At least you can count on your football team to get you some good results. Not this season. Not this season. All right, we're here. So, welcome to Molyneux, home of Wolverhampton Wanderers, who currently, at the time of me filming this, don't have a manager. I think they're gonna get one very soon. By the time this video comes out, maybe that new manager has actually carried them to some good form, but right now it's not looking good. But at least this mosaic of a football looks nice. So yeah, trainability for Wolves, well, I'll tell you what, it sure was frustrating to get here, but like, it is possible. It's not too far from the train station, and if you know the way, you know how to maneuver these streets, it's not that bad. And there are trains from everywhere, and the tram, it's not that bad. And like, at least this map mentions the station, right? Surely this map would mention the rail station. Where is it? Oh, just an arrow. It's just an arrow. They don't care about it that much. So it's like the stadium and the city does everything in its power to make it impossible to get here on foot. Again, that's in spite of the team sucking, not because of it. I'm sorry, I can't be too mean. I promise by the time this video comes out, Wolves will be top half of the league with their new manager bounce, right? But yeah, trainability, like, come on, everything considered, it's good. It's good enough. For where this is, and how much service the station gets, and how close it is, I can't give it lower than a 7. But I also can't give it higher than a 7, because walking here is terrible. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna take the tram for a really quick spin. What was I trying to say? Yeah, I've got time. I'm not leaving here for another 40-ish minutes until the direct Avanti back to Euston. So I might as well take a spin on the traffic and buy a ticket in 1 minute. All right, so the guy was nice enough to sell me a day pass on board, but I wanted a smart card. Probably get one a bit later.
The West Midlands Metro is currently a single tram line that runs the slower route from Wolverhampton to Birmingham, operating with CAF Ergo's 3s. It runs on the street within the 2 cities and uses a former railway to get between the cities. Some parts of the line do not have wires, and instead the trams run on battery power in those areas. Major expansions are planned that would turn this one line into a true system, including one towards Dudley, which is hoped to open this year, but we'll see.
Alright, bit of an unexpected detour. I am now at the Hawthorns to do a rare championship club visit. But they have their own stop, so it must be close by, right? And honestly, the West Midlands Metro, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. And just down the road there, very, very trainable. And this is also a commuter rail, or regional rail, I should be saying, West Midlands railway station. So you can get to the city a lot quicker with those trains. However, all the trains here only go to some of the other mainline stations up Birmingham. They don't go to New Street. So I'm not gonna bother waiting for one of those. I'm just gonna get the tram back because I've already booked my seat on Avanti. I can't take too long. So I don't want to miss that. Paid quite a penny for it. And would you look at that timing? I heard it coming. They made an announcement. Oh my god, it's in Min. It's in Min. The tram's in Min.
Now, I have to be careful with this next part because I think a swan might die if it hears this. I enjoyed riding trains in Birmingham. Yes, I know. Well, I generally enjoy riding trains anywhere, but I do think that the West Midlands has some good bones at least. Especially when you factor in just how car-centric it is. I'll definitely come back and check it out in more depth, not least because I eventually figured out how to buy a Swift card, and there's still money on it. And now back at New Street yet again, it was time to go home. My ride to London would be a Pendolino, and it actually got here on time. Look at that. Why do people hate Avanti so much? I don't understand. Where does the hate come from? Oh. It was pitch dark outside and I was exhausted, so I didn't really feel like filming a review. But you will get that in the next episode of the Railway Premier League. See you then.